No, I'm not eating a Pop-Tart. I was producing, okay? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big News Wednesday. And it is going to be a big day. Not only do we have a pre-show for you, and then the TDR show, we also have a Biden Address to Congress special that we're going to be giving you more information about in just a little bit. Had to pause for a minute before starting this because sometimes the sheer amount of dumb people that we need to deal with on a daily basis can really get to me. And I was just briefly debating in my own mind, which is worse? All of the people who say stupid things, like on Fox News and in politics to get paid, or the people who like pay to be told those things? Because at least the grifters are like getting a paycheck for it. But like for every one of them, there's millions who will pay to be told stupid, condescending, baby shit. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Glad to have you here. We're going to get through this together. I've got a lot of important news to get to. We got stuff about January 6th. We've got horrible people in state government. We've got Dr. Fauci responding to Joe Rogan. We've got seemingly a repeat of the situation with George Floyd, another person killed by cops. Lots to talk about. And then, in about 30 minutes or so, Jared Jackson is going to be joining me for the Damage Report, and it's going to be awesome. But I see here that Rob Shively sent in a super chat saying, I'm starting to think Tucker is trying to get himself canceled so he can get his followers even more riled up for step 2 of the fever of whatever plan he has. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he can always do what Piers Morgan did, just step down and say that that was you being canceled. The totally voluntary thing that you did, probably after planning for a while, was you being canceled. Anyway, yeah, if he decides that he's going to run for president or whatever, which I still could potentially see happening, but it really does seem he's already rich. That's not going to stop him. I mean, Trump, was rich. I don't know. He's got a pretty good gig now. Having to, go do debates and stuff, I think Tucker Carlson would have to see some pretty convincing polling, and will probably pay to have polls done before deciding whether he wants to do that or not. Anyway, thank you to all of you who've already hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 as soon as we can. Kevin C., welcome to Tier 1 YouTube membership. Thank you to all the YouTube members. Really do appreciate you. We cannot have a Sprocket cameo today. Well, maybe on the damage part. We'll have to see. Really fast, though, and this is one of the things that triggered the dumb people. What's her name? Kimberly Guilfoyle. So this is the girlfriend of Donald Trump Jr. She went on Newsmax. Oh, that's sad. To say about Biden, it's really sad he's way in over his skis. Kamala Harris is really the de facto commander-in-chief. She made it very clear. Joe Biden really brings new meaning to the term shelter in place. I think he wants to go back to Delaware. That's just sad. You don't know. You have no access to any. Dude, you're on Newsmax. You're not even on Fox right now, and you're talking about knowing what Kamala Harris is doing? Yeah, she knew Kamala Harris decades ago. She has no access to any of that. It's just cheap applause lines. And by the way, as always, it's pointless to point out the seeming eagerness with which conservatives will believe mutually contradictory things. Not different aspects of the same thing. That's the sort of nuance I push for all the time. The ability, for instance, to acknowledge both good and bad things about a thing. This is mutually conflicting things. So he is an out-of-control radical who is destroying the American system of government. It has to be stopped. And he's way over his skis. He's just sheltering at home. He's Sleepy Joe. He's never left his basement. Again, that's insane considering the other things that you think about what he's doing, but also the fact that he won and then very popular, even though he was sheltering at home. Well, then maybe that's what they want. Maybe Trump should shelter at home if he becomes president again, because it seems to be pretty popular. No one thinks about anything. There's a whole show that gets produced and put on. It's got a host. It's got a guest. People at home are watching it. Nobody's thinking. Any of them have any thoughts, even Kimberly Guilfoyle. Now, granted, all of this is a grift. In theory, that requires some thought. I don't think that she is. I don't think she's getting paid directly for that either. I guess she's dating Trump. Can you imagine what conversations are like between them? Because, like, at some point, she's not on Newsmax and he's not, I don't know, accidentally hitting a wall with a dart in Trump Tower in what passes for work. Like, then they're both at their home or whatever. And, like, I'm assuming they interact at some point. Ugh. What are those conversations like? Maybe all of this gets dispensed. It's all just an act, and they talk about, I don't know, Handmaid's Tale coming back. They have a normal conversation. I don't know. But everything that both of them put out into the universe is just so sad. Hey, Kimberly, how was your day? I tweeted about how Biden's going to take away your burgers, and then found out it's not true. Oh, Don, I had a good day. I talked about how Kamala Harris is actually in charge. I mean, I have no fucking idea, but yeah, let's drink. That's a life. That's a life for... These are very wealthy people. They can go anywhere. They can do anything. This is the life that they have produced for themselves. Ugh. I wonder how many more days of doing the news I've got left in me. There's definitely a clock. There's a cosmic clock. I can't see it. I don't know what the number is, but it's there. Anyway, Nate Arena says, Mormon Dragon, it's my birthday. Love the show. Happy birthday, Mormon Dragon. Sea Salt Chip says, Ted Cruz attacking Trevor Noah on Twitter is the great example of how Trump poisoned discourse with owning the libs being a thing GOP politicians do now. Yeah. I mean, the good thing is with Ted Cruz, it's really sad. And so it does produce some funny moments. So I do appreciate that. Looks like we passed 1,000 likes. You'll get more than one story today. Thank you. Oh, by the way, can you see that? Yes, I did actually clean up my desk. More people are coming back into the studio eventually, and so I'm going to need to be back out there. I actually have been using Studio B as my office this whole time. Anyway, Kevin C. says, I'm a member on TYT, YouTube, Twitch, and now the no more outlets, please. Also, I'd like to be lazy. Foot's a dragon, please. You can. I think you've done enough. If we do another thing, you don't have to do it. How about that? But thank you. Ryan Nowicki said, hey Ryan, says, story worth noting. Hackers recently used ransomware to take police data and ransom it for millions to not disclose informants and get them killed. Jeez. I don't like that. John Dillon says, Tucker ramping up this lunacy and xenophobia feels like him chumming the waters for the psychotic base of the modern Republican Party to set the stage's run, demagoguing just like Trump in 2016. Sure, it is entirely consistent with that. It's also entirely consistent with him just wanting to be totally in charge of Fox News. Or start a Substack or something. I don't know. It's consistent with both. Wayne Sugara, hey Wayne, says, hi John, would it be arrogant for me to say Anna's pre-show was inspired by the success of your pre-show? It's entirely possible. Has she been doing it every day? I think it's great. I think it's much more casual. We should have been doing it for a really long time. And to be fair, look, we've been doing live intermittent YouTube videos for a very long time. Just sort of standardizing it to before the show. I think it's a good idea. I need to watch her next one. Oddly enough, I don't get notifications. I'm freaking on the network and I can't get a notification. Sia says, don't forget to bring a towel. Thank you. I don't know where, but thank you. Nadarina, how's it going? Welcome to Tier 2 YouTube membership. Hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. Earlier this week, we had our top 10 problematic faves, and that was a fun one. Okay, so let's see. What have we got next? Let's go to something very serious. Mario Gonzalez is a 26-year-old Latino man killed by police in Alameda, California. Now, the police originally said that there was a scuffle and a physical altercation as they attempted to restrain him, followed by a medical emergency. Now, some of that is sort of true, but they left out quite a bit. For instance, they leave out the fact that he spoke with officers for about 9 minutes before they decided, no, you're coming with us. And they pinned him on the ground. 2 officers got on his back, one kneeling on his shoulder, for about 5 minutes until he became unresponsive. He stopped breathing on sight, An officer declared he had no pulse, and that was it. Mario Gonzalez died in much the same fashion as George Floyd. I guess neck and back, or sorry, shoulder and back. It's hard to say exactly if it was on the neck, but they kneeled on him until he died. Nothing in that situation had to happen the way that it did. All of it was the cop's own choice. They made all of the choices that led to him dying, having known fully what happened with George Floyd and hearing about it on a daily basis for a year. And yet they still decided, I'm going to kneel on someone minute after minute after minute. Someone who poses no risk to us, no threat whatsoever. There's a bunch of us cops. We're going to kneel on him. They're still doing it. They haven't changed as a result of George Floyd dying or even Derek Chauvin getting convicted. Now, it's possible, timeline-wise, that maybe they couldn't have been influenced by that, although the trial has been going on for a while, but the death wasn't enough, and that seems like a pretty terrible commentary on what we can expect from our cops. I just hate it. I just hate it. I feel terrible for the family. Entirely possible that that family, including with Mario, had conversations about George Floyd and about the cops and stuff like that, not knowing that someday a member of my family, too, is going to be kneeled on until they die. Tucker said it's not a big deal. Totally reasonable, the kneeling. In fact, you should not suffer any legal consequences if you kneel on someone until they die. He says a lot. He says a lot. Let me see how much time we have. Man, the pre-show passes fast. Just a Voice says, wasn't Kim G married to Gavin Newsom? Yuck, can I be voice dragon, please? You can. And I think they were married, yeah. Yeah, she was with Gavin Newsom. Maybe those two people's politics aren't as dissimilar as they might like to imply. Maybe she actually cares so little about politics that her partner holding two entirely different worldviews makes no difference. Like, I don't think that for a relationship to work, you have to agree on everything politically. But that said, pretty different. And these aren't just people who believe it and that's it. These are people whose whole thing is acting on it. A Little Punch Drunk says, I cannot understand how the right wing can be so willingly ignorant and so easily duped by these Fox hosts. Also, can I be Pennywise the Dragon Clown? I am horrified by that prospect, but sure, you can. Late Bloomer says, good morning, John. You seem to be full of energy today. I'm trying. You're going to make me yawn by saying that, by the way, but I did have a monster this morning. Then got stuck in traffic. Natural One Dragon says, can we all agree that if you sit on someone's neck and chest, they won't be able to breathe and cops should not be doing it? No. We cannot agree on that. Isn't that sad that we cannot? Neo Smith, Neo, I remember you, says, go vegan for the planet, for the animals, for you. I appreciate the advocacy. Neo, thank you. WBS says, just got my second Pfizer dose, so happy to be here. Glad to have you here. Hope the side effects aren't bad. Mallory McDonald, welcome to Tier 1 YouTube membership. Thank you for being here. Okay. Breaking news, DOJ, Life of Danny says, DOJ executes a search warrant. Rudy Giuliani's Manhattan apartment and seizes electronic devices over his dealings with Ukraine while he's Trump's lawyer. Life of Danny, I appreciate that. I will have to look into it before the show, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. The producers are probably on it too, but thank you. Patrick Johnson says, just got my second Pfizer shot today. Pakistan, Tucker. Just pack, just go away. Okay. There's so many good stories. You know what? No. This story I was going to do, it's going to be elevated to main damage report show tomorrow. Oh, do you know? Let's get some guesses. Who is my co-host tomorrow? It's someone who hasn't been on for, I think, several weeks, a month or so. Who do you think it is? Let's find out. Peter Hewitt says, getting my J&J later. Wish me luck. Got a terrible needle phobia. Kind of feels like people like me are a little forgotten in all this. No, I get it, Peter, and I do wish you luck. I got it. Look, I'm not scared of needles, although I just went to the dentist yesterday. And when they poke the needle into your gums, that's worse. But anyway, I don't think it's a particularly bad shot. It doesn't take particularly long or anything like that. It's not Tucker Carlson. It's not Gary. Oh, we got to have Gary Chambers back. That's a good idea. It isn't Jason, but Jason's going to be coming soon. Don't worry. It's not Quay. Actually, D. Rocky did guess it correctly. All credit to D. Rocky. I wish it was Emma. No, it's not Emma. We haven't had Emma on in a very long time, unfortunately. She's live at the same time I'm live, so I don't know what to do about that. But no, Viviana's going to be joining me. It's going to be awesome. We haven't had her on in a bit. Okay. So, let's talk about the main story here. So yesterday, Joe Rogan. If you're not familiar, Joe Rogan is this guy that likes UFC, that does a podcast, and Earth's population decided that he should be the most influential person on the planet. Does that sum it up? This particular guy should be the guy that the most people go to for curiosity and being exposed to things. He's just open-minded and always seems to bring on... Anyway, got my issues, but whatever. If you like his thing, that's totally fine, I guess. But yesterday, he said, "Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, like, I don't think you need to worry about this." Talking about COVID-19 and the vaccine because, of course. Look, Joe Rogan has landed on the right side of some issues. I guess it's possible, but if you're going to bet on any particular one, it's not going to be the reasonable side. It's not even going to be the consistent side, because his comment was, don't do anything stupid. First of all, take your advice. Second of all, don't do anything stupid. Just get the vaccine. Okay, so millions of people listen to his podcast. The chance that any one of them individually gets the vaccine has almost certainly been affected by Joe Rogan. It's possible that they were already less likely to get it anyway. But that's so irresponsible. It's just irresponsible. And again, this guy gets paid a massive amount of money. This is an incredibly wealthy person telling all of these people who are not protected by the wealth and all of that he is, that they should do something stupid. That if they exercise all the time and eat well, you don't need to worry about this. That has fucking nothing to do with it. I'm really wondering, like, the place where he got his medical degree, I don't think they deserve accreditation. And that's the thing, know your fucking lane. I don't give people investing advice because I don't know what I'm fucking talking about when I do that. I also, by the way, don't give people medical advice that goes against what the actual experts are saying because I believe my opinion is worth more than all of them. Know your fucking lane. But his lane is supposed to be everything because he's curious about stuff or whatever. And just occasionally there's a misstep, like convincing millions of people to not get vaccinated when they really, really should. Now, Dr. Fauci responded to this on NBC's Today saying, "You're talking about yourself in a vacuum. You're worried about yourself getting infected and the likelihood that you're not going to get any symptoms, but you can get infected and will get infected if you put yourself at risk. You can still spread it inadvertently and innocently if you're asymptomatic. So if you want to only worry about yourself and not society, then that's okay. But if you're saying to yourself, even if I get infected, I could do damage to somebody else, even if I have no symptoms at all. And that's the reason why you've got to be careful and get vaccinated." And he said that they should, because exercising has nothing to do with it. Eating well has nothing to do with it. Being young makes you less likely to be negatively affected by it, but you can still totally get it. You can still infect people, including some people that are not young and can't get vaccinated because there are multiple groups that fit into that category. So just don't do anything stupid. Now look, Fauci's a doctor. They're not interested in what Dr. Fauci has to say, but let me communicate to them in the way that they appear to like with Joe Rogan. Stop being a fucking stupid asshole and just take the fucking vaccine, you moronic caveman. Just fucking do it. Like, why are we there's nothing I hate more than pointless fucking debates. Well, I mean, I guess if I'm young, if I exercise, if I eat well, then maybe I don't have... No, just fucking do it. What's the upside, you jackass? What's the pro? The con, let me lay this out for you. You can get the virus. Even if you're young, you can still die. Yes, it's rare, it can still happen, or you can get sick and have years and years of negative health consequences, or more likely, you can spread it to someone else, they get sick and possibly die. Now, to you, the pro. What's the fucking pro? I got the vaccine. You know what it was? Boom, it's in me. Maybe I had some consequences. Briefly. My arm hurt a little bit. You work out, right? Your muscles get sore. You're used to that. You're a big, tough guy. You'll be okay if your muscles get a bit sore for a bit. If you're a little bit tired. I get tired, for instance, the day after a really big workout. All of your viewers are used to that experience, so just fucking get it. They're not even attempting to explain what the upside is. He's not even admitting to his audience that that is something worthy of discussion. No. It's Fauci and like the libs want you to have it, so I don't know. I thought you were curious. Have Dr. Fauci on your fucking program. You can have anyone on your program that you want. You're supposed to be the open-minded guy. But the mind is only open in certain ways for certain things. It's just so fucking frustrating because we'll decide, like, not that any one individual should have an audience, but we'll decide, okay, no, this person 100 times as big as others. What are our expectations for that person? 0. Nothing at all. And it is consequential. By the way, not for me. Don't get fucking vaccinated. Ain't gonna hurt me, okay? I'm vaccinated, so the chance that it's gonna negatively affect me is basically nothing. I'm just a dumb lefty who cares about other people other than me, including people I don't know suffering and dying. That's not something that apparently worries them at all. It's not gonna affect me, it's gonna affect your viewers. He's pulling a Tucker Carlson. Joe Rogan is apparently okay with a certain amount of sickness and death in his audience so that he can say something controversial. I get responses like this video, I guess. Just fucking take it. Stop being a fucking baby and just take it. Put your mask on. Well, it's inconvenient. I go to the gym. I know what people fucking wear. You're wearing straps so you can have your phone on. You're wearing like this thing to compress the calf, and I want to put the tape here, and that's gonna... You put stuff all over your body. Put it over your fucking face. God, it'll muffle your grunts a bit. We are a nation filled up with oblivious, ignorant people who, coincidentally, over the past year have been convinced that the worst thing going on is a movement for people to wake up a bit. How much time do I have? I'm way over. Stefan says, breaking news, federal authorities just executed search warrant on Julian's apartment. Thank you. I will look. And by the way, when it's not about politics or whatever, fine. If you want to talk about psychedelics or whatever, if you think that's the most fascinating thing, fucking do it. But the politics, just, again, know your lane. By the way, the inside information or whatever, Cenk was on Joe Rogan's podcast years ago. I tried to listen to it. I had to stop after about 10 minutes because what passed for his attempt at, not Cenk, but Joe Rogan's attempt at political commentary was maddening to me. I had to turn it off. I've listened to Charlie Kirk talk. I could stand a bit of that. But oh man. Ugh. Anyway, I know that you've sent super chats. I will be reading them. Unfortunately, I can't read them live. I went over. Really sorry. Thank you, Late Bloomer. I appreciate that. I hate not reading them live, but we are way over. I can see the tick-tick-tock. I apologize. The show's coming up very soon. See you there.